Hi everyone, I am Shaheera Binti Syakir from the EC5B and I'm from College Professional Mara in Drama Kota Kuantan, Pahang. This is my friend.
Hi, I'm Nurin Mumtazah. I am also from the ET5B, and this is our friend Emily. Can you introduce
Hi,
yourself?
I'm Emily. I'm from the United States of America. I live in Meridian, Mississippi.
All right. Actually, we are going to having a short interview regarding our topic, which is about intercultural communication, and our subject is from USA. And Nurin will be asking for the first question.
So the first question is, do you know what is intercultural communication?
Yeah, so my understanding of intercultural communication would be any form of communication, whether it's verbal or through body language, between two people who are from different cultures.
Oh,
Oh,
you're right.
that was a nice answer for me to get. All right,
So,
for the next questions, which cultures that have you interculturally communicated with before?
Yeah, so I've actually communicated with a lot this past summer. I was in Malaysia, so I got to communicate with y'all guys. I've also lived in Guam, so the people's is called Chamorro, the Chamorro culture. And then also living on campus with different international students. I've met some people who are from Zimbabwe and India and other countries like that.
wow,
Oh,
you have a
wow.
lot of friends
Yes.
Yes.
from different culture because we don't really have, unless it's Malay or Chinese or Indian, we don't really
Yes.
unless we are um having an online friends, but it's only online friends. So for the third questions is based on our study, is it true that Americans tend to be direct in their communication?
For sure. A lot of Americans speak very directly. So like we will voice our opinion very strong. Which I almost think sometimes that we are too direct in our conversation. Tends to hurt people's feelings sometimes. So that is one struggle I find in our culture is we just speak very directly. So yeah.
So we are totally different because in Malaysia, as for Malay, we are very indirect.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for the next question, like, is there any body language or gesture that is considered rude or offensive as an American?
So one that comes straight to my mind when that question is would be like flipping someone off. So it would be putting up the middle finger towards them. That would be very, very rude. It's yeah, very rude. That's the primary one that I can think of. And then that's that's about it that I can think of.
Yeah, because people tend to do it because they think like Americans will think like it's nothing.
Hmm.
I guess that's what
Right.
they think.
Mm-hmm.
Because Malaysian itself, like a body language that consider as rude, like you just what I can say, like you
Point, point at
finger
someone.
point to people.
Pointing.
It
Yeah.
becomes so rude to us. Is
Mm-hmm.
that for American this like just a normal or something?
Yeah, so we point with our fingers like everywhere. Whenever we're telling people direction, we'll point completely with like one finger,
Oh, I see.
just pointing towards that direction. Hmm.
Because
Oh, okay.
when we want to tell directions to people, we will use all of our hands, like
Huh,
there,
like this and
or
this,
like this,
but we can
there.
use this finger one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So for next question is, as a student, you have probably yes, okay, you have said that you have met various people from different culture. So what is the
Mhm.
first thing that you do to get to interact with the new? from other
Yes.
cultures?
Yeah, so typically I start very generic and I'm just like, hey, what's your name? Just trying to get to know them personally. But also once we get a little bit further into conversation after like depending on the context. So like if it's in school, then I typically will ask like, what's your major? Like why are you here? What kind of things do you enjoy? But then as we get further into conversation, I'll kind of ask more questions about their culture just to make sure that I don't offend them on accident, not being aware of that their cultural differences. So
Yeah,
I'll typically ask like, is there any like movements that or hand gestures or body language that is offensive to you that wouldn't be considered offensive here?
yeah, because that
Mm-hmm.
is an important question. Because even for us to interact with other people from different culture, we tend to be scared that we might get them misunderstood or we might be rude or
Hmm.
so. Next question.
Okay. Okay. Does it really consider as rude if someone is not maintaining direct eye contact with the person they are talking to?
Yes, so this one's kind of situational. With the older generation in America, we are
Mm-hmm.
taught to keep eye contact with them.
Mm-hmm.
The younger generation is not very good about keeping eye contact, so that one doesn't matter as much. But when we're talking to elders or people who are just older than us, we tend to keep eye contact, or at least attempt to. I'm really bad at it because I tend to watch people's mouths when they talk. And so
Oh,
that way I understand what they say. So I have to make sure that I'm looking at their eyes directly. Yeah.
oh. So, Nurin, how about Malaysian? Do we tend to be rude if we are not making direct eye contact with Malaysian people?
No, because for Malaysian, if you're not making eye contact, it is okay. Because
Mm-hmm.
um, moreover for Malay or when we talk to men, we don't
Ah,
really
yes, especially. We
Mm.
cannot like just like when we have a conversation with a guy or the opposite
gender.
uh gender with
Opposite.
us, we cannot make an eye contact with them. It's become like very very big mistake if we do it. Like we talk and then have a direct eye contact and then like we are like seduce meaning we can like having it in mind something
But
like
not
that.
really that is like quite a stereotype, I guess.
Just a
Mm. I
stereotype
guess
of
I would do very well in that culture then, not maintaining eye contact.
okay
So
Eugene.
for the next question, do you think that prolonged period of silence make you feel uncomfortable? Like when you talk with people and the people like suddenly went so quiet, do you think like it's
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable?
Hmm. So like when there's like the awkward, I call it an awkward break in conversation. It's like you
Yeah.
kind of like finish a thought in conversation and you kind of just sit there and stare at each other. A lot of people get uncomfortable with that. Like it's just like they'll find something. What I find tends to happen is they'll pick up their phone and they'll look at their phone to like break the silence because they don't want to continue the eye contact with no words or anything. And so it is very awkward here. Yeah.
Like
And for us like example from us when someone like just suddenly keep silent or prolong the silent treatment, it just like make us awkward and we don't know how to react and then what to do and then
Hmm.
are we like have a in mind just are we going to continuing this conversation or I just go like that.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's
like
very similar to how it goes here.
or like when you interacted with your friends, have you ever like encountered this kind of experience? Even like
I'm sorry, say that again.
like when you are conversing, I mean, when you are communicating with your friends, have you ever like been in that kind of situation?
Oh, yes. So that actually happened like probably a week ago. me and this friend were
Oh,
having a
just
really deep
exactly.
conversation. We were having a deep conversation, and we got to the end of it, and we like talked through everything, and then we just had nothing else to say. And so then it was kind of like we went silent for like probably an entire minute, and it felt like a lot longer. But it was kind of like this awkward period where I was like, well, do we go back to small talk, or do we like keep talking about a really deep thing? It's just like, where do we go from this?
Yeah. We went blank. We just went blank because like the silence make everything change.
Yes,
Yes.
true. That is the big true. Okay. We already talked about like conversation and interaction. There is and then you have met various people from around the world, and you have international friends. There is must be have a slang from them. So the question is, do you find it hard to understand the slang of other people from different culture?
Yeah. Um, I find it hard to understand the slang sometimes from my culture, especially
Mm-hmm.
like even the younger people who are younger kids who
Oh,
are using slang.
really?
I'm like, I don't know what that means. But especially from other cultures because I don't have any context of what their slang means. And so it gets a little difficult, especially sometimes when it crosses the cultural boundary of what's right and wrong. Like sometimes other cultures will
Mm-hmm.
they're very prone to using cuss words and stuff. I don't use
Mm-hmm.
cuss words very much. And so then in their slang, cussing can become a part of it. And so then it's offensive to me, but like I know that in their culture
Oh.
it's not offensive. And so it kind of adds that variable to it. And so it makes it a little confusing sometimes.
I can if I can get do you can give some slangs that you get from your international friends that you don't understand, and then how you like go with it.
Mm. Let me think. I don't know if I can think of any slang off the top of my head from other cultures. I tend to forget them. Honestly, I forget a lot of the slang
Right?
that they
It's
use.
okay because we tend to forget things very easily too.
Yes.
Oh.
Like even like for the slangs because nowadays even the youngsters have so many slangs like
Mm-hmm.
new words and stuff. So even me, I couldn't really understand it.
Yes.
True, true,
One
true,
one
true.
that the kids are using right now in America is Sigma. And I'm like, I don't know what Sigma means. I don't understand what that is.
Yeah.
Me too. I don't even know what it means up until
I
now.
don't.
Seriously.
Yes,
Yes.
because in Malaysia they are also using that, but I don't understand.
And some
Yeah.
slangs
So I'm.
in Malaysia is from there.
Mhm.
Mostly slangs that they learn is from American, and then some is from UK. But then
Mhm.
because the youngsters have so many slangs, and we just like hear it, and we don't even know what is the meaning of it.
Yeah. I tend to just smile and nod my head. I'm like, yeah, I definitely know what you're talking
Just
about.
like we understand. True,
Yeah.
true, true.
Just act like we
Okay, yeah. Okay, your
Okay,
friend is.
for the next question, could you tell
Mm-hmm.
us your experience of having a conflict or issue in your intercultural communication experience? It can be either verbal or non-verbal type of communication.
Okay.
It's
So,
happening.
I think from this summer there was one instance, and this was nonverbal. If I understand correctly, in Malaysia you don't hand things with your left hand, correct? Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So I'm left-handed, so I'm used
Oh,
to doing things all the time with my left hand. And in America, we don't have that. Like it doesn't matter. We don't care about which
Mm-hmm.
hand you use to hand things to. And so there was a time this summer where I realized because I knew that it was not correct in Malaysia to do that, but sometimes habit overtook. And so there was a few times where I was paying for something and I handed the money with my left hand, and I was like, oh no.
Oh,
I was
okay.
like, I cannot believe I just did that. So I'd apologize. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And then also with the pointing, we're very used to pointing with one finger, and so it took an adjustment to point with the thumb or with the whole hand in one direction. So that would be
but
nonverbal.
But actually,
And
it doesn't
what
really
Nurin?
count it as rude. Actually, like for me, I didn't find it as rude personally,
Mm,
me personally. But I don't know about the other people. Maybe all others will take it as a big thing. But for me, it's nothing. I think it's okay even when you use your left hand or you point your finger. I think it's okay.
yeah.
Apart from Malaysia, that you have a conflict about that. Do you have like a face a conflict in other country too?
Like with
Yes.
other culture,
Ah,
people from other
yes.
country, other than
Yeah.
Malaysia.
Some of my international friends, there was a guy from, I believe it was Zimbabwe, and for him, he used a lot of strong language like cussing and stuff like that. And in their
Oh,
culture, it was very acceptable. It was very normal speech.
uh-huh.
Um, but for me, it was not. And so I was like, hey, I need you to. I mean, I would appreciate if you would not use so many cuss words just because I find it offensive. And so that was just one. Sometimes I don't say anything and I just let it go because I know that that's his culture and that's what he's from. And so I'm trying not to like make a conflict between that. But sometimes it gets a little uncomfortable.
Oh, alright. So
Because
like when
we just try to respect others' culture, right?
Hmm.
uh, and when you in your class or something, do you like have any like ever face this kind of conflict like your with your international friends or classmates?
Like in the classroom setting,
Ah, yes.
um, not very much in the classroom setting. We don't. Not a lot of people tend to talk in class,
All
just
right.
with the teacher. And I haven't had a teacher that's international yet, so I haven't had that.
Oh, I see. Okay, for the our last question for this interview, based on your experience that you ever did before, what can be a good guidance to avoid misunderstanding among two people from different culture?
Yeah, so I would say, especially if you're traveling or if you're going to be mixing in with
Mm-hmm.
another culture, definitely
Uh-huh.
look up some of the cultural norms in the other culture and then some of the things that would be disrespectful or rude. That way you can try to avoid them before it happens. And then I would say also, if you just happen to you don't know that you're going to be mixing with another culture, ask questions. I would say, 'cause, not to be arrogant and stuff, but just to be um, like I don't know. That way, you're not ignorant about their differences and stuff. Just be open and honest about, hey, I don't understand this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why you do this or stuff like that. That
Mm-hmm.
way, I don't offend somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that you tend to ask a lot of questions. Even like when we first met,
Mm-hmm.
you did
Hmm.
ask lots of questions. So
Yeah.
I think, like, wow, yeah, it's good for you to know lots more things. Right? Even for me, I
Mhm.
learned a lot of things by having a conversation.
Yeah. I think it's really neat to be able to just have conversations with people from other cultures and like just being able to learn about their culture because I mean not one culture is better than the other and when you know more about each, I feel like your life is so much better. Um,
Okay, apart from Malaysia, you have been here before, right? So, for the next year or maybe next time, do you have ever like a country that you want to be there?
so I really want to go to Thailand or Africa. I've
Oh
always wanted to
wow!
go to Africa as well. So hopefully maybe this summer I'll be able to go there. We'll see.
So you have learned your culture for the preparation you make to meet various people of Thailand.
I have not done a lot of preparation on that one yet because I'm still trying to decide which one. And
Uh,
so I plan on doing that definitely before I go. But I have learned a little bit from friends who have been there. And
mhm.
yeah, I believe they also have the left hand, like don't use your left hand. I think that's just is that an Asian culture?
I
A typical
think
Asian culture? Okay.
um
Like Malaysia and Indonesian, have the same culture. Not everything is same, but when you go to Indonesian, mostly Indonesian is likely the same with Malaysian.
Mhm.
It's quite similar, I can say. Yeah.
Yes.
So our interview has come to the end, actually,
Mm-hmm.
and we have finished all the 10 questions. We would like
Yes.
to thank Emily.
Emily, for joining our
Thank
interview
you.
despite of your busy and then your midterm. You have told me that you are right now having a midterm, so I hope that you have a very good preparation and then go well with your midterm.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me and just being able to talk.
Thank you
It's
so
been fun.
much for joining us for this interview.
Thank you, Emily.
Yes,
Thank
thank
you.
y'all.
Thank you.